I did not run for office to be helping out a bunch of fat cat bankers on Wall Street.
President Obama just wrapping up a powwow with some of those fat cat bankers. He blasted, why slam them than see them? My next guest says that makes it easier to make those bankers an offer they can't refuse. He should know he appeared in The Godfather. That is him meeting at the wrong end of Sonny Corleone's fist. Remember that? Phenomenal. Gianni Russo joins me right now. Hasn't aged a bit since then.
Oh, yeah. Thank
Gianni,
you.
very good to have you. Thank you very much for coming.
My pleasure.
You were kind of saying something akin to like The Godfather movie. You know, he makes them an offer they can't refuse, right?
Well, when he calls you for a sit-down, you go. And if I were him, the bankers meeting, there wasn't 5 families, there was 12 bankers. But I would want to stay on his good side, because we all know if the government gets you at the end of their nose, they're relentless. They're not going to stop.
But if he's ripping you apart in the press and saying that you're, fat cat bankers the night before, you're going to have this big powwow, what do you expect to come of the meeting?
Well, I think the bankers should just use their own conscience. The money came from the little people, the taxpayers.
Right.
And now it's their opportunity. They're coming out of it. And if it wasn't for the stimulus package that they received, maybe they wouldn't have a job. So you got to remember that little guy.
All right. So you think the president is sort of doing a Corleone moment there where he says, I helped you, you helped me?
Well, I think they got to regroup. I think everybody's going to be a loser. If the bankers don't, loosen up credit, offer mortgages, and create jobs indirectly, I don't know how Obama's going to succeed.
So is he overtly threatening them? You said, because you've been in the White House many times, that sometimes you don't have to say anything. The environment is intimidating enough. What did you
yeah, I mean, for people like we said earlier who have not been there, that structure in itself is very intimidating. So
you're in there, the president. Do you think he gets nasty with them, Gianni? Do you think he's saying, look, I'm a little upset? What does he do?
No, I wouldn't think he needed to. He's so eloquent anyway in his speech. I think he can get his point across.
Well, apparently they would say behind closed doors Ronald Reagan could be very direct.
Well,
do you think this guy has his very direct moments where he said, look, guys, I helped you out. I got all this tax money towards you. Pony up.
Well, I think that's all you would have to say. If I was listening to the president, we all understand what he controls. I wouldn't want him to single me out of 12 bankers and create a problem for me. So I'd listen to him.
So you'd be afraid of that punch coming as well?
Well, not so much the punch, the consequences of the IRS and everything else.
So you think he would use all these tools at his disposal?
Well, I think he has to. I don't know how he's going to be successful. He's got to create jobs.
So be a little meaner, a little rougher, a little more Godfatherish.
Well, I think maybe he has to, jolt their consciousness of who gave him the money. Again, it was the taxpayers' money.
But they can't win. You see what I'm saying? I'm hardly an apologist for him, Johnny, but if they give the money back, they're giving it back because they've got selfish interests, which might be the case. If they lend again or do risky lending that got them into trouble in the first place, they're going to be back to the Godfather, and the Godfather's going to be upset. So what do they do?
Well, I don't think it should be the risky lending. I think that was the middleman that was creating those second mortgages and trying to stimulate you buying a third home even. And now they're all upside down. It's sad.
But Gianni, the White House, which says it doesn't watch this show, but trust me, Gianni, I think they watch this show.
I think they watch every show.
They're going to watch you. They're going to watch you. Hey, that's Carlo, the Godfather. And we're being compared to the Godfather, and they might feel offended.
Well, to me, it's major corporations in the last. We did The Godfather 39 years ago. I go to seminars, major corporations, and they have quotes of The Godfather in their boardroom. It's become a cult situation, not just for kids, but for corporations and people. If you think of the ethics of how they ran the family then, not now.
Right.
Today it's a cartoon. But
sometimes
the old
he'd kiss you on the cheek, and the next thing you know, he'd have a bullet at you.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen.
Right. But you think the administration, clearly when they said, the bankers came out and said, we had a frank discussion, what does that tell you?
I think he let them know where the cards fell, and this is what you got to do, and see how you're going to make it work. Make it happy for you, where you're going to make money. We all recognize the fact that the loans they were given were uncollateralized. They're very risky, and that's why we're in this situation. So that portion of the
real quickly, you're the President of the United States. The bankers are sitting down with Gianni Russo. What's the first thing you tell them?
See, I would have met with them one-on-one.
And one-on-one, each one, the first thing would be what?
Just to tell them, listen, it's your time to do the right thing. We did the right thing with you. You got to do it with us now. Help the little guy.
Capiche?
That's all.
Okay. Jenny Russo, The Godfather. Great, great movie. You're
Thank
part
you.
of history, my friend.
Who knew?
Who knew? Who knew? Very good seeing you. All right, well, to the